Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome back to the Engine Builder Show. For our topic today, Gabe will be talking about how to avoid the roller coaster of revenue cycles in your business. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. You're in for a treat. Good morning, everybody.
There was always a ton to learn. If you've been in business for any period of time, you've likely experienced revenue cycles of high revenue and then low revenue. And one of the simplest things we can do to fix that is actually engage in consistent marketing. And we're going to talk through that today. And consistent marketing, consistent sales efforts. The cycle that I see happen, especially with younger businesses, or even there's seasons where I've gone through this as a more established business, but definitely in kind of smaller, younger businesses and less experienced entrepreneurs, is they'll go out, they'll push hard, they'll market a bunch, they'll do a bunch of sales efforts, they'll be prospecting, and then they get a ton of work and get really busy, and then they put their head down and they focus on delivery, which there's nothing conceptually wrong with that. If you sell something, you absolutely should work hard to deliver excellent results and really serve your customers well, because marketing 101, like we talked about a week or so ago on the show, is delivering amazing products and services. When you do that, then you will get referrals, your business will be able to grow, and it's definitely the first piece. But if you are experiencing revenue, cycles where it really feels like a roller coaster, then there's two things that are usually happening. One is you're not consistently marketing, which leading to prospect and more sales. Or you have so much project-based income and you haven't found a way to set up reoccurring revenue in your business. One of the things I've said for years is reoccurring revenue is the holy grail of entrepreneurship. When you can get reoccurring revenue, everything else is simpler. And when I realized that 5 or 6 years ago, one of the things I did was start moving the majority of our services to year-long payment plans, to subscription plans, because it makes it easier for our clients to engage in services and not having to pay a bunch of money up front for the entire year. And it also makes our cash flow predictable and dependable, which allows us to be stable and scale. But as it relates to the primary driver of when we have this roller coaster of up and down revenue, that's something that drives a ton of stress. And it makes financial management harder, not impossible by any means, but it makes it harder. And it can really impact how you show up, the work you do, and just your stability as a company. So instead of thinking that you need to market when you're slow, remember that if you market all the time, and if you're prospecting, selling all the time, that's what's really going to build revenue. And even when we're super busy, the temptation then is to slow down marketing or lower spend. Every time I've seen a client do that, we recommend against definitely don't stop spend. You can reduce it a little bit if necessary, but you should actually be marketing even heavier when you're busy, because when we're busy, we get this false safety or this false perception that, man, I'm going to be busy all the time. And then if our marketing stops, our sales effort stops, then we are creating a future deficit, a future hole in the business. One of the best books that the first time I heard this principle, it's probably been shared other places, but one of the best books I read around prospecting, marketing, and just leveling out revenue is called Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt. And he has a line in the book that was worth reading the whole book. The whole book is excellent, to be honest, but he has a line in the book that says, today you are reaping the benefit of the sales efforts that you did 30 days ago, in almost all cases, in most business cycles and sales cycles. And yes, there are some sales cycles that are much longer, but generally speaking, especially for a lot of service businesses, and products and services businesses, is if you're having a slowdown in revenue, you can look back 30 days and you can say, oh, we weren't engaging with enough prospecting, we weren't sending enough email marketing, we weren't running ads, we weren't doing all the things around marketing and sales that need to happen for us to build and maintain a full pipeline of opportunities. So as you're thinking about how to really structure your marketing and be intentional about how you show up, ask yourself, what's the minimum marketing effort that I'm going to do every single day? What's the minimum prospecting that I'm going to do on a daily basis? And I say daily intentionally, not weekly, because it's very easy for a few days to slip by and then a couple of weeks to slip by. And if you're not out there sharing your content on social media, so your brand stays present, if you're not working on your search engine optimization, if you're not paying for Facebook ads and Google ads, if you're not doing email marketing, if you're not consistently working in as many marketing channels as you can, then when you start to prospect, then people aren't going to know who you are. It's going to make the sales process, much slower. And if you're not prospecting on a consistent basis, then you can't have conversations and you can't, serve new customers. And in a product business, a lot of your prospecting is honestly just great branding and great marketing, out with paid traffic channels. But there are, depending on the size of your product or your engagements, your services, you need to actually follow up and do, person-to-person prospecting too. One of the things that I love when I'm trying out a new service is I recently was exploring finding a Chinese tutor because I want to work on learning Chinese over the next few years. So I tried out a tutoring platform, filled out some information. I got busy and I didn't finish my, the form to engage to talk to potentially using a new professor to teach me and tutor me. And about an hour later, I got a text clearly from a real person, not an automated bot, that said, "Hey, Gabe, I saw you started the checkout process and you didn't complete it. Just want to see if we can help you. I can get on a call. I can show you how to use it." And so that's an example of prospecting on a lead that came in, a real person, even though it's more of a productized platform. It's more of a product. And I've experienced that with actual physical products too. So that intentionality of showing up and consistently talking to the leads that engage with us, whether they're filling out a form, they're trying out a trial, they're engaging with us on social, wherever you're getting engagement from your audience, you not only need to show up with the branding and consistent advertising and be in front of them, but you also need to be reaching out and prospecting and saying, "Hey, I saw you checked out our site. Do you have questions about the product?" Or, "I saw you checked out our services here. Is there one that you're specifically interested in?" When we reach out and prospect on a consistent daily basis, then we have the ability to build a pipeline that really matters and will really get us great results. And again, the reason I say daily is even if you take 15 or 20 minutes a day to do a little bit of marketing and a little bit of prospecting, if you do that on a daily basis, you will beat 80-90% of other entrepreneurs out there that claim to want to build a business, but they don't have the structure and discipline to show up on a daily basis and do what matters and do what's going to actually get results. So build it into your calendar, follow through on it, get somebody to hold you accountable. And if you do it consistently, you will build a pipeline of new opportunities that will serve you well. The last analogy that I always like to use with this is when it comes to your marketing, don't be like the foolish restaurant owner. So the foolish restaurant owner opens up his restaurant and says, "You know what, I'm going to try these hours for the next few days. We're going to only be open from 4 to 10 for dinner." And he does that for 3 or 4 days. And then because he's not busy, he's like, "Man, maybe dinner hour isn't the right time for us. We're going to be open from 10 to 2 for lunch." And he does that for a few days. And the guys that, were driving by, the potential customers that were driving by and said, "Oh, I want to check that place out for dinner," they go up there to try to have dinner and they see that the restaurant is closed. And they're like, "Man, I thought this place was open for dinner." And then the restaurant owner, being foolish and not being consistent in his marketing and his sales and how he shows up on a daily basis, says, "Man, lunch really isn't that busy. Now we're going to do breakfast. We're going to do 7 to 11. So the customer that thought he was going to come have lunch comes, checks it out, and he shows up at 11:30 and he's like, "They're closed. What the hell?" And it ends up just causing confusion. So don't be like the foolish restaurant owner. Instead, be consistent. Run your advertising consistently, run your marketing consistently, prospect consistently, and that's what will build trust in your marketplace. They'll know you're there. They know that you offer that, because when I see folks trying to turn on and off advertising, when I see them stopping and starting email marketing, when I see them do a huge prospecting push for a couple of weeks, but then they forget about it for a couple of months, I can always draw a straight line from that and say, well, with inconsistency here, you have inconsistency revenue. And so make sure that you're consistent on a daily basis, because the work you do today is going to pay you 30, 60, 90 days out in the future. And there's even times, and I've had plenty of deals like this, where I've consistently reached out, I've consistently prospected, we've kept the marketing going, and I've had people come to me and say, "Remember 18 months ago when we started talking? I'm ready to sign up right now. Let's go." And if you're willing to play the long game, if you're willing to put in the daily work, then you can flatten out these revenue roller coaster cycles that happen, and you can consistently grow your business over time. If you need help with consistent advertising, with marketing, with any of the things we've talked about here today, reach out. We would love to serve you. Hope this has been useful to you. And I encourage you to write down one thing that you're going to change today and block that time in your calendar. Because if you do that, that's when you're going to have the opportunity to grow. Thanks for taking time to tune in. If you need help, reach us at businessmarketingengine.com. Otherwise, we will see you next week on the show.